Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on channel 103.5, the Beat FM, channel 224, channel 112, or of course ILTV Studios on Facebook, but wherever you are choosing to listen to us, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for listening. Happy Monday. Outside is an ungodly 108 degrees according to the thermometer in my vehicle, and so wherever you are today, I implore you to please hydrate. Please drink the water without the gin in it, at least until 6 p.m., and try to stay in shady areas if there's even such a thing at this point. But whatever you do with all your might, as often as you can, retreat to the indoors, because that may be the only, well, it depends on what kind of indoors you have, but that might be your only saving grace against this ungodly heat, which appears to be persisting, albeit I understand that there are some tropical storm weather being experienced in the southeastern quadrant of the Bahamas. And we're going to talk to our friends over there at the disaster, the DRM, and they are going to advise us at some point. We're going to talk to them in the show about what exactly should we all expect. I mean, I'm not exactly sad that the hurricane is passing. I'm not exactly sad that it is passing on the trajectory that it is. I am not a meteorological specialist. However, just based on my general knowledge, I believe that once the system gets out of here, we should see some cooler days. Anyway, Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor for the whole Bahamas, is here with me. Bradley.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome back to Freedom March.
Absolutely.
I'm going to open the lines early today because I'm talking about who should we shuffle. I want to talk about the people that have sat in the positions that they've sat in for the last 3 years, and sometimes you simply run out of grace for the journey. And if that ever happens, you should know that it happens. This is Freedom March. Don't move. I'm Levan Miller. We'll be right back. This is Freedom March. All right, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Leland Miller. Bradley Rowell, the spiritual advisor for the whole Bahamas, I'm told, is with me. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Good.
Good to be
What
here.
does Holy Scripture have to say to us today, Bradley?
We haven't read any psalm for a very long time, so we're going to go to the first division
The first division.
as a way of, I guess, encouragement. The psalm here. And the first division of the psalm, I'm going to read this from the King James Version. It's a version because of its poetic style writing. It's very easy to remember. I can guarantee you that you can close your eye and you can repeat.
I know
the
this
first-
scripture.
yeah. You can probably repeat it verbatim without having to look at the screen. But here's what the psalmist David says in the first division. He says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of the sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law that he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaves also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly, however, are not so." But like, producer, "The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish." Very, very beautiful.
Very
psalm.
powerful.
Indeed.
Very powerful.
Thank you,
Blessed is
producer.
the man that standeth not
That
in
walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly.
nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, standeth in the way of the sinner. That's we got plenty of people around here who guilty.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed.
Yeah, plenty of people
Make
around
no
here.
mistake
guilty.
about that.
All right, so there's a whole lot of things that's been happening. I want to get rid of the gate. Let me say this. I'm going to play a Rodney Monka clip. I don't want y'all to go crazy. To his family, I just need to make the point. And so with as gentle a heart as possible, I hope that I'm not pulling the scabs off of anything for you all, but I want people to realize that I'm not picking on anybody. And this is the best context that I can reach for in my archives. You comfortable with that, Bradley?
Yeah, sure. why not?
Fantastic stuff.
As a reminder of his voice.
I'm opening the phone lines. Here is the question. I am of the view that that we have reached the point in this government's administration for a full-on shuffle. I think that the Prime Minister is at the point where some people have simply ran out of grace for the journey. Are you following me with that?
Is it the journey or the job?
The job, the journey. So, I don't remember where it is in the Bible, but I know the Bible talks something about having grace to finish the race. Oh boy, what does the scripture say? Help me with it, scholar. I'll remember it at some point. But as I look at some of the problems or the challenges that I see facing some people with appointed portfolios,
Okay.
I believe that sometimes you can take off, right? And you can be making good steam. Because you have a set of ideas, you have a set of skill set, you have a set of considerations that you have made for a thing. You walking with me on this,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And then you get to a point where you plateau, right? And
You mean like you've reached your peak?
you may not have peaked, you may have just plateaued. And unless something
level off?
right, and unless something drastically happens, you won't crest or peak.
So there's so you don't improve.
So you
don't-
become stalemated.
Okay, stagnant. No.
Precisely.
Okay.
And even though you may be moving forward, you're moving laterally. So there is no progression.
No improvement.
Right.
Okay.
Now, so while you're not declining, you just aren't improving. And I think that right in that gray space is where the electorate gets wary, right? And one of the persons that come to my mind is people like Earl DeVoe and those people that kind of got into politics. They were very transformative in the early couple of years, and then at some point, people just kind of grew fatigue of them. Not because they did anything bad, or just people just got wary. And so you found that they ended up in very small issues that people just weren't prepared to tolerate them through. right? And I use the word tolerate in the English language sense, right? And sometimes people simply run out of grace for the journey,
Right.
right?
And who would recognize that?
I think the person that is in the journey should recognize it. He who has started a work in you is able to keep you until the appointed time. Is that what the scripture says? Something like that?
There's a passage, yeah.
Okay. And so I feel like that if I were a Baptist preacher, that's the one I'd be reaching for today. Right? Because some of these people, in my view, have simply not done anything wrong. They just no longer have grace for the journey. All right? Joseph, I was supposed to call you. I forget. I'm 40. Don't kill me. I'm going to call you though. All right? So the Lord will make a way, but you just hold on a little while longer and everything will be all right.
So is that a disadvantage for the party, the country? Or?
I think it disadvantages the party. Because what I am of the opinion, what is my opinion, is that people will punish the party not for lack of performance, but because the party at some point no longer stimulated them. Right? And so if you study psychology, I think it is the theory of Ian Pavlov, right? You all could check this stuff out. And Ian Pavlov argues that with animals, at some point, you can reduce the level of stimulant and still get the same reaction from the animal. So if you have puppies, you feed the puppies in the same place every day, you show them the bag of food every day, they hear the rattle of the bag every day, they hear the food going into the pan. If you watch, the puppies will begin to salivate. Yeah. At some point,
they react towards it.
And it is a motor response. Their brain is making them respond.
Yeah.
At some point, you could remove the bag. You could remove the noise. The animal will simply associate your presence in this space with that bag. Okay. And you will note that their mouths will begin to salivate, right? It is because once you've stimulated the animal...
salivate means what?
Saliva will...
begin to drool.
Right.
Okay.
But it's because once you've introduced the animal to the stimulant, right? Every now and again, you could walk the stimulant back and get the same result. But in the case of more fierce animals, like whales and lions and those kinds of things, right? Their brains do not associate changes in behavior as easily with reward as it does reinforcement. So sometimes you have to increase the stimulant in order to get the behavior you desire from this animal over a period of time. You walking with me?
Okay.
I feel the same way about the Bahamian electorate. I feel like the Bahamian electorate at some point forgets the thing that stimulated them. So it doesn't matter if you show up here with the shovel, they want to see the dog food. It don't matter if they could hear the rattle of the bag, they want to see the dog food. And so, like the lion or like the whale, or at some point, you may have to increase the stimulant in order to get the behavior you desire from the animal. You with me on it? That is the theory of Ian Pavlov. You could go check it out, right?
Now.
The German, that's what they used to call him.
So now let's...
bring this home?
Yeah.
So I think that there are some people who, if you follow them, it just appears as though they are running out of grace for the journey, right? I have some names in my mind. I want to go to this clip with Rodney Munker that, in my understanding, was about 4 years ago. All right? There was a change in administration. There was a problem that presented itself. Rodney suggested that he had what it takes to get the problem solved. 4 years later, what I hear is that the frustration is at the same level it was at 4 years ago.
This is the same problem.
Because the problem has reoccurred.
Okay.
Now, you need a greater level of stimulation. So whereas you could have gotten away with paying once every 2 months, you might have to actually pay in advance 1 month in order to get the animal's behavior back to the point that you want it to be. You with me on this?
Will it work though?
Hey, the only way science is in practice. You got to keep testing the theory. So let's go to the clip with Senator Munker, the late, and let's see what the issues were.
Now I have a complaint from Popper. Popper say that he or the poor people are not being paid. Them who have been working for Shenandoah. So I want Papa to know that if he worked for Shenandoah, all he needs to do is to submit the bill, and I shall make sure that the PLP pay him. I want him to know that I have a tiny bit of influence. And I will go and see the chairman, Mr. Mikel Bonnaby, and say, Mikel, listen, Papa work, Papa should be paid. Okay? So, Papa, you don't have anything to worry about. If you work, the PLP will pay the bill. Okay?
And so, 4 years later, we are back at a familiar place where people are contending that they aren't being paid regularly by the Beaches and Parks Authority. And some of them have even suggested to me that on this same trajectory, what they believe will happen is when the Progressive Liberal Party calls an election in 9 months from now, they will be behind on their payments 2 months, and they will be relying on a new chairman to be gracious to them, like this chairman was, I'm learning, in the case of the transition of chairman from Shenandoah and Cartwright to Mikel Bonnaby. You get my point?
Okay.
All I'm saying is, whose theory is it?
You call one guy.
Oh boy. What the fella name?
You're 40, right? And you forget the names. Like 59.
Ian Pavlov, the German.
Yeah, the German.
In the theory of Ian Pavlov,
The German.
Ian Pavlov contends that you have to figure out the exact amount of stimulant that is required to get the desired behavior from the animal.
So we have to figure out. Now, budget cycle ended when? June the 30th?
June 1.
It
July
ended-
1. May, and the new budget starts July 1.
Right. So the old budget ended June the 30th.
June 30th, yeah.
So July 1. July the 31st. Now you see what's happening?
Right, so there's no way they should be 2 months behind
I
because
don't
the new
know.
budget only 1 month old.
Maybe they're still trying to sort some things out.
No, man, when the new budget come, new money come.
Automatically?
Yes, as a matter of fact, if you have old bills that carry, those old bills might take a little while to pay because we have to allocate money for it. But new bills take priority in the new budget.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff involved with that Beaches and Parks issue. Number one, once those contracts are up, they face the task of contract renewal. Once they review those contract renewals, there's some politics involved with who's going to get contracts, who's not going to get contracts. There's politics involved with MPs presenting certain names for people who they think should get contracts. Then on top of that, there's documentation with those contracts. Contracts have to be assigned, they have to be signed. There's a bunch of red tape with that. It has to go to this person,
Bradley,
this person, next
Bradley,
person. And then on
Beaches
top
and
of that,
Parks is now 12 years old, isn't it?
yeah, this happened before.
Man, this
right?
baby gotta could walk by now.
Boy,
And
you
ain't no
don't
way
know.
you still telling me about problems that would have been faced or experienced in the infancy stage of the Beaches and Parks Authority. And all I'm saying is, at some point, either this baby need to could eat chicken or we need to abort this baby.
Then on top of that, every single contractor then has to submit business license
TCC.
along with an up-to-date
Yeah,
tax
but
compliance
you're
certificate.
not saying any procedure that is any different from anywhere in government.
Watch this. Now we got to go back to Inland Revenue and see what's happening with business license renewal, because that's
I understand that is a challenge. Many
what I'm
people
saying?
can't get business licenses
Right.
because I hear they doing one bunch of dragging tail over there by
So
Inland Revenue.
all of this stuff you got to take into consideration to see why we are at this point. Now I can be honest with John. I hate to do the same, He's a good friend of mine. I can be honest with John. One thing with me, I don't like to, sugarcoat things. I've been trying to reach Mikel Bonnaby.
That sounded like sugarcoating, but go ahead.
I've been trying to reach Mikel Bonnaby. He always answers my phone call. For some strange reason, he's not answering my calls.
He may be out of jurisdiction.
I don't know why.
He may be out of the jurisdiction.
Because I think he would have a more clearer understanding of what is happening.
Or maybe
So-
he is stalemated. There's nothing wrong with stalemating. You realize that, right? So you
it
realize that
depends.
sometimes you have
get plenty
grace for
pressure for
a
that, though.
journey, and sometimes you must know when your grace for that journey ends. You follow me?
I'm following you.
Christie ran out of grace for his journey as prime
Let
minister.
me ask a question. Is there any, and I heard your point earlier about by now, beaches and parks should.
This baby should could chew chicken.
But guess what? If this baby could walk,
We can have to throw him off the cliff. This is a horrible baby.
It's a possibility this baby still could fall down and get back up.
We may have to just throw this
You know
baby
what?
off the cliff and start off with a new baby.
So the reality is there has to be some reason as to why these contractors are not paid. There has to be a
And
reason.
all I'm saying to you is watch this. Hear me out now. Maybe the chairman has stalemated and the supporting cast is no longer supporting the chairman. That is very possible. And I just told you
think that-
last week,
well,
man,
it could be a financial situation. I don't know.
and you know who could make the chairman's life increasingly difficult? His executive administration team if they no longer support him.
Now, then we need to
I'm
find
not
out.
saying that's a fact. I'm just saying that that is a possibility.
Then we need to find out how many contracts have been issued by the Beaches and Parks Authority, because each contract needs 3 signatures: the secretary, the chairman, and the financial controller.
That's my point. And now you're going exactly where I'm going. And do you know how long a 2-week process could take if I have a financial controller who got 21 days with a casual leave? Or how much ever they just get. If I have who the other person you say is?
The secretary.
You sure it ain't the general manager? Because they have a general manager.
No, the financial controller signs, the secretary
The
signs,
secretary of what?
the secretary for the Beaches and Parks Authority, and the chairman. They're the 3 signatures.
Is that like an executive secretary? Because that don't sound normal to me.
It's the Beaches and Parks chairman secretary that signs.
That sounds irregular to me, but I'll let you have it. I've never had a big fat juicy contract.
I need to bring my contract.
I've never had a big fat juicy contract, so in this
I have a
instance,
copy
I'm
of the old
ignorant.
contract I had with
Here's
Beaches
what
and
I'm
Parks.
saying to you though. Do you know how long paper that doesn't move itself can take to move if the team that has been designed to support you have simply opted not to support you? If you've ran out of grace for the journey, every task becomes increasingly more difficult. And I'm saying the chairman isn't alone. I feel that way about some people that sit in the cabinet. That is what I want to talk about here today, who all may have possibly run out of grace for the journey. Don't move, Freedom March will be right back after this break.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, their guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirely without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group, copyright 2025. All rights are reserved.
The march to freedom is long, and it must continue to evolve.
Led by God and grounded in Scripture.
March to freedom must be righteous, with a focus on accountability and sustainability to ensure that we leave no man behind.
Have the courage to do the right thing and get yourself a red Bible.
As we unleash the minds, you can be confident that the revolution is alive, and we will continue to document it.
This is Freedom March.
This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. Bradley Roll is still here with me in studio. We have Aaron Sargent, the Executive Director of the DRM, that's on the phone line with us. Mr. Sargent, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for joining us. So we wanted to get in contact with you guys because we wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it is our family and friends in the southeastern corridor of the Bahamas may be experiencing at this time, what is being reported, as well as what is to be expected, maybe over the course of the next 24 or 48 hours. We note that around this time last week, the minister had said both on local news and international news that, at that point, the tropical storm was only something to keep your eye on. But now there has been progress, and that progress has now translated into storm-like, I'm understanding, storm-like conditions being experienced in certain parts of the country. Give us a little bit of an update on that, please.
Yes, thank you, Levion. So as the minister alluded to last week in his press conference, is for us to be prepared and proactive. What is now being experienced in now the central and southern islands of the Bahamas is mainly limited to the rough seas and swells, rip currents, etc. We have briefed all of our administrators yesterday. We activated our National Disaster Emergency Operations Center as of 12 noon, and likewise, Family Island administrators in the Southern Islands activated their incident command centers to manage the response to the tropical storm-like conditions that they may experience from Hurricane Aaron.
So when you say we're experiencing tropical storm conditions, what has been some of the maximum sustained winds that people in the... Firstly, give me the islands that have reported conditions, if you can do that, and then the severity of those conditions that are being experienced, along with how sustained the conditions are.
So the islands, all islands have reported. From yesterday, it was the Southern Islands, which included Meguana, Auckland, Inagua, Crooked Island, and then surrounding keys, Long Key and Samana Key. Earlier this morning, the Department of Meteorology would have placed at 6 a.m. would have placed under tropical storm watch the islands of Long Island, St. Salvador, and Rum Key. And all of them are reporting they noticed an uptick in the rough seas. In certain islands, like Long Island, there is rain, but that was due to a weather cell, I'm being advised by the Met Office. In Auckland and Inagua, there is overcast skies, light rain, but more important, the thing that has happened the most is the seas. The seas are very rough, which resulted in all of the advisories cautioning boaters from going out to sea, and they have to remain in port.
Okay, so all small boats in that central and southeastern corridor are advised not to venture.
Not to venture.
Now, I know that the DRM has taken major steps towards the continued development, redevelopment, and construction of hurricane shelters, particularly in the north.
Yes.
Have we seen any of that effort in the South and Central, or is the possibility in instances like these an evacuation strategy should these storms turn out to be something more powerful?
Yes. So yes to both of your questions. In the first instance, the authority is working on a national shelter builder project. We know one of the things that we have implemented was we've upgraded and revamped our shelter inspection process to retrieve more data to assist us in finalizing where needs shelter capacity. Overall, nationally, we are only able to, and we've said this a number of times, we only have enough shelter capacity for 3% of our population. I believe global standards are about 10 to 15%.
Okay.
So that's our goal over the next 3 to 5 years to build several purpose-built shelters that serve dual roles. But these are places where people can go to be safe and to weather these storms. So we are definitely working on a major project, and it has started already. We are identifying suitable land based on risk. And then there is a heavy focus on the South Islands. A number of them do not have the capacity in general. And so that would mean evacuation, which we are prepared for. And we have the first iteration of a national mass evacuation plan, but we're working on a more final, detailed one that is supported through a grant provided by the Caribbean Development Bank, which should be finalized over the next year.
Now, Sergeant, I suspect that evacuations get a bit tricky, particularly because of the way the land is laid out, the schizophrenic nature of storms. Right now, tropical storm conditions put all small boats in port, which I always tell people the Defense Force only has small craft. So when they say small craft stay in port, they also mean the Defense Force, technically. But we know that those men are prepared to go and brave it. Notwithstanding that, though, I mean, how much calculation, without divulging too much of the authorities' internal inner workings, how much of the strategy factors in the schizophrenic, just deportment of these storms? Because, a sharp west turn could make the need for evacuation immediate.
Immediate, yes. And the authority over the last year has worked to develop close relationships, as we have inherited from our predecessor, which is NEMA, relationships with all of the major airlines and mail boats within country. So if the need arises for us to enact enact those relationships to assist with evacuation, those are at our disposal to use.
Okay.
Additionally, earlier this year we would have visited several of the major cruise lines to discuss potential MOUs for cruise ships that they may have in our vicinity that they can pivot to assist us with evacuations as well.
Okay.
So there is thought and strategy behind a mass evacuation plan for each island. But the key, even before evacuation, is to encourage residents to prepare early. And not to wait. You said it. These disturbances, these storms are schizophrenic in nature. They are very volatile. Aaron, I had several updates over the last 48 hours with differences in movement. First it turned, then it turned west, then it turned again. Took a while to take the northerly trek to which we were all praying for. And so again, our push from the authorities to be more proactive and be prepared, encouraging our residents to prepare today rather than waiting to prepare.
Yeah. So you also talked about the allocation of land to build out the storm shelter program. Yeah. But of course, the threat of global warming, depending on which college of men you ask, some say that it's a very real thing, some say that it's not so real. What we know from moving around the country is that our beaches have altered in the way that they look. The topography of the area continues to change, and the only thing that we could possibly blame this on is global warming. I don't know if it is the DRA's responsibility, but what are we doing about coastal low-lying areas, particularly in the places that we're considering sheltering, particularly in the areas that we are considering evacuation? Because, I can only lean on the experiences we've had previously, that's in Abaco. I recall that at some point trying to get assets on the ground just simply became impossible because the coastal areas had all flooded in.
Yes.
And so is there again? I don't think coastal line development comes under the DRA, but is there some sort of a school of thought there that the DRA is mindful of with regards to how we attend to these coastal areas?
So we work closely with the climate change unit that is based out of the Office of the Prime Minister. However, it does not come under our remit, but as it relates to the selection of suitable areas for the building of a purpose-built shelter, that is our major priority in making sure that, one, they are not in coastal or low-lying areas.
Okay.
That's one of the things that we are concerned about. If there is no suitable case, then it would mean then that island may not be able to put a purpose-built shelter, which means it would call for an immediate evacuation order if they come under threat to a hazard that is beyond their coping capacity.
Okay. To the residents, you talk about preparation.
Yes.
We do know that access to assets on a family island looks a little different than it does here in New Providence. We do also know that just trying to secure yourself looks a little different in the family islands than it does here in New Providence. And so, I mean, what real advice with regards to preparation does the DRA adopt as its official advice? Is there any amount of a thing, any grade of a thing? Should I be making sure that if I'm gonna batten up, I use 5/8 plywood? If I'm gonna try to, are there standardized preparation markers?
So yes, the answer is yes to that.
Okay.
However, the Disaster Risk Management Authority just advise residents to just start to prepare.
Okay.
They don't wait until we make the announcements and you hear the advisories from the Department of Meteorology that you have to then prepare. Incremental steps. So we know plywood may cost a certain amount, and roofing plywood is the best for shuttering your homes.
Okay.
Buy a piece today, buy a piece tomorrow, whenever you're able to do so while we have time to prepare.
Right.
Additionally, what we have done is moved into strengthening island capacity. So we've expanded our National Disaster Readiness Exercise that was usually only held in New Providence. We've, along with our U.S. partners, we have conducted regional exercises in Inagua, Acklins, Abaco, and Andros, and Exuma. And that allowed us to build capacity, show the residents who are part of local government what to do if they are faced with an impending threat. We believe building capacity helps to build resilience.
Sure. Now I have to ask this question. I don't particularly consider myself among the tree huggers and dog lovers, but those people exist, right? And so we talk about things like preparedness and evacuations. We talk about sheltering, but of course we know that the movement of livestock, the movement of household animals, these women love their cat, Mr. Sergeant. They ain't leaving their cat home. Have we factored in how exactly do we manage that in a storm, or is that something we're still building out? Because, the world is sensitive to animal care, animal protection, and animals, they need protection from nature as well. Does the DRA contemplate that in its thoughts, particularly as we move in the southeastern corridors, in the south central corridors? What are the considerations for that?
So, ironically, Le'Veon, that was one of the things that came up in our Inagua regional exercise. I believe one of the lead volunteers has a number of pets, and she said, listen, I'm not coming if the shelter would not allow me to come.
Yeah.
So it is a work in progress.
Okay.
And let me tell you why it's a work in progress. A number of most of the shelters are privately owned. They're not government owned. And so we have to abide by some of the things or the restrictions that those private individuals or organizations who have allowed us to use their space to assist in saving lives have to factor in. So the things that we tell residents who have pets, who have animals, they are to, again, prepare early. So make alternative preparations to put your pets, your in a safe space, to have food, just as much food as you need, and water that you need. It is noted that you need a gallon of water per day, per person. Likewise with a pet, and all of these resources you can find on our resource website, getready.gov.bs, which guides you on what to do for your pet, how to manage, because we don't have pet-friendly shelters, what to do in that instance.
It's funny that you said that you tested this out in Inagua, because I thought to myself, well, where we could put the donkeys, right? But
it's interesting when you said the cats. I remember the conversation we had around the exercise, and she said, "I'm not coming. I've invested heavily."
Beloved, they live in their cats. I can tell you that. We just got a few more questions for you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Freedom March today. If you're just joining us, Aaron Sargent is on with us today. He is the executive director. Managing director of the DRA, and of course we're talking about tropical storm. Is it Hurricane Aaron now? Is it?
It's Hurricane Aaron. And just a correction, it's the Disaster Risk Management Authority.
Disaster Risk Management Authority.
Management Authority. So DRM for short.
The DRM. Okay.
Yes.
And what he's basically telling us is the do's, the don'ts, the must-haves, and I guess the steps, the standardized steps that have been agreed by the DRM on what every Bahamian should be doing to increase your chances of surviving these things, which we know can become cataclysmic, catastrophic. They can be an absolute disaster, eh?
Yes, indeed.
So, Mr. Sargent, you talked about the need for water, etc., and you're talking about the needs of the individual. The question becomes, I've been to Inagua. I know the whole place can't go buy water the same day. Everyone can't buy water the same day. It's just a challenge for the island, right? How are the business partners to ready themselves in these kinds of times?
So again, it starts with early preparation, putting in your continuity of operations plans, identifying what items you need to ensure that the business can continue throughout any hazard. Again, just referencing Inagua, the big corporate partner on the island, Morton Salt, was present during those exercises and discussed their readiness and how they plan to resume operations to help the island to return to normalcy. Okay. Also what they are prepared to do, whether or not they need to bring in supplies through their U.S. counterparts, et cetera. And so these are the things that the discussions that we have had with business owners, but we encourage, again, check out getready.gov.bs. It has a lot of resources for business owners in terms of the development of continuity of operations planning, resources to secure your business during times of when we are under threat.
Response time. I mean, let's just say, worst case scenario, there's nothing we can do about the act of God. Hurricane Aaron touches down and it smashes into Matthewtown in Inagua. What exactly is the estimated response time the DRM has calculated that they can get assets on the ground and, if not begin the cleanup, at least begin mitigation? Is there a strategy? Inagua is 386 miles away from New Providence unless they move it, right?
Yes.
In a vessel at 20 knots, we're probably still talking about 14 hours at top speed. Yeah. While 20 hours or 14 hours doesn't sound like a very long sailing excursion, I oftentimes tell people that, while the person in the emergency feels like the ambulance or the first responders are taking long, the first responders are actually possibly risking life to get to them, right?
Yeah.
So because we're an archipelago, time is unavoidable. There is no way around or to remove response time from the equation. How is the DRM calculating to reduce those response times, and who are the partners that you're working along with that?
So you're absolutely right. Because we are an archipelagic nation, our logistics efforts are 10 times more than any of our other Caribbean partners. I think if you group all of our islands together, we're bigger or larger than Jamaica. In terms of land mass.
Right.
And so again, first stop is locally with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and Police Force. They are our key partners. A lot of their readiness exercises have been done now with learning from some of the lessons of Hurricane Dorian and preparing in advance. And so oftentimes they have a separate disaster risk management unit that is on standby, at a moment's notice. Now the Lawrence Major, it will take some time, but I could tell you last year when Inagua experienced Hurricane Oscar, I believe the Lawrence Major would have arrived within 2 days, I believe, or less, with supplies, with tarp, that stuff.
Yeah.
But response times are also tied to the initial damage assessment, whether or not response crews and cleanup crews could be able to move about the community,
right,
depending on the level of damage. And so we have developed our internal damage assessment teams that go immediately, even before all clears are given to the general public. And that's why, we always encourage residents to stay indoors until the all clear is given to the public.
Sure.
It would allow the first responders, the damage assessment teams, to give us the preliminary data, which would allow us to get what is needed to each of the disaster zones.
I know
that. So again,
go on.
Go ahead.
Go on.
No, I just was simply saying that again. Our geographic makeup is unique. And depending on the nature and the severity and intensity of a storm and what impacts on the island it may bring, would then determine some of that response time. But we are actively working to reduce those times and to be able to get into the islands to help bring normalcy to our people once we may be impacted.
I suspect you're trying to reduce them to an irreducible minimum, eh?
And it reduces, yes, sir.
So my final question. You all have been, the government has taken a position that it wanted to build a fine cadre of young men and women in the National Youth Guard.
Youth Guard, yeah.
We know that I think they are on now the 4th, if not the 5th cohort of inductees into that program. Largely, I think some of the most major of our catastrophes are natural disasters. Has the DRM partnered with that group as well, or is the DRM just basically using the trusted boots that is always out available in the defense? I didn't hear the mention of them. I know you said partners. I just wasn't sure if they were among the partners that are considered in the recovery effort, or if they are considered in the riding out of the storm, because they're young men, young men are for war. They should go to war and die. That's what they do, right? So I mean, how are we factoring agencies like the National Youth Guard, who may not have the resource or the resolve of a defense force, but they have preliminary training, they have preliminary survival skills, they have the wherewithal, they have youth and vitality on their side. Is that factored into the DRM's plan, and at what stages?
It is, and I believe that's at all stages of the disaster management cycle. Just so you know, though, the National Youth Guard is managed by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and in particular, Captain Sonia Miller, who has been an integral partner and actor in the disaster risk management space. And so, a lot of the Youth Guard training revolves around disaster management training.
Right.
And so they are part of our structures. A lot of them come from various island communities, and so they will be a part of once needed, a part of the response and recovery mechanisms getting into those islands to provide manpower. Most recently, wildfires are sometimes considered natural hazards, depending on how it originated. Our thought process within the DRM authority is to look to utilize the Youth Guard as a wildfire volunteer crew to provide support to our Royal Bahamas Police Force and Family Island volunteers. So we're working on developing those with the National Youth Guard, with the Royal Bahamas Police Force to provide support to help us manage those type of natural hazard threats.
Fantastic stuff. Mr. Sergeant, you have about 38 seconds left before we head to the break. Any final words of admonition? Any final words of encouragement? Any final words with regards to the storm that we now have resting on our southeastern border? Any words in general from the DRM as you take your leave?
just in general, as we continue to always say, just to continue to be prepared, get ready as these storms rapidly intensify. And we are in the peak season, so let's be proactive, let's be prepared, and stay safe as a country.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron Sargent. He is the Managing Director of the DRM, the Disaster Risk Management Authority. He's been our guest right here on Freedom March. You hear the jingle. When I get back, I'm opening up the phone lines. Have some of these men simply lost the grace for this leg of the journey? We'll talk about that when we return right here on Freedom March. This is Freedom March. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us for the break. I'm Leland Miller. Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor for the whole Bahamas, is here with me. Bradley, welcome back to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
And I have my cup, which I'm very much in love with, from my friends at the Rollers Beach Resort in Cat Island. And I just, every time I drink out of it, Bradley, I feel like I have a little bit of Cat Island with me still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Let's go to this side.
Keeps drinks cold, eh?
Indeed. And all day. And all day.
Hey, Bahamas, ready to turn your event into a party Royal Inflatables have you covered. From brand new bouncers to water slides and combo castles, fun is guaranteed for all ages. The equipment is clean and inspected daily, safe, spotless, and ready to go. Enjoy free setup and take down on-time delivery and 100% hassle-free service. Perfect for birthdays, school events, or any celebrations. So call or WhatsApp now at 242-468-7268 to book. Let the bounce party begin. The Work Center, located on Rosetta Street across the road from Rose Furniture, is your one-stop shop for back-to-school Dickies, Timberlands, and many, many more. So come on down, let the friendly staff assist you with getting ready for back-to-school. Thank you, producer.
Thank you very much, spiritual advisor. So, you want to go to birthdays or you want me?
Oh, yeah. Producer, let's see. Did he send it? Yes, it did. Okay, let's do this quickly. Quincy Strawn. His children, family, and friends, especially his post office family, sending this wish to you. They love you. Happy birthday to Quincy Strawn. Charlene Saunders, happy belated birthday to Charlene Saunders from her sons, Danico and Lancero, daughter Shallow, grandson Ziron. Thank you for taking the time and blessings upon you, Charlene Saunders. Our sister from the Hybrid Partridge of Christ, Ellen Dean. We want to wish this quiet breeze, the wife of supportive elder, the impeccable dress, supportive elder's wife and great mom, is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to Sister Ellen Dean. Coming from your husband, your two children, the Hybrid Partridge of Christ, the leadership, and all the members of the Hybrid Partridge of Christ. May God continue to bless you as you bask on your birthday. Enjoy your birthday, Sister Ellen Dean. Look like that's it.
That's it?
Yep.
Fantastic stuff. Let's go to the clip from our friends over at Eyewitness News and see what. Let's start there. We'll start there. The phone lines are going to be open right after this clip, but let's go to the clip from Eyewitness News.
Senator Michael Barnett Ellis appears to be the front-runner for the hotly contested Killarney seat in the Senate earlier this week. Attorney General Ryan Pinder sought to congratulate the sitting senator, this as businessman Lincoln Deal and former F&M Senator Darren Cash, or chairman rather, were said to be vying for the seat and were reportedly on the ground campaigning. The constituency, which has been held for the last 20 years by former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, has become a seat to watch as Minnis has repeatedly declared his intent to run with the support of the Constituency Association. This after the F&M leader Michael Pintard made it clear that he won't be running on the F&M's ticket. The Attorney General, though, sitting on the other side of the political divide, wishes Barnett Ellis the best in her endeavors.
Chair, I've just received some, I think, what I regard as reliable information that a certain colleague around the table, and I don't want to get her into issues, but may have secured the nomination of her choice. And so I want to congratulate her as well. Congratulations.
Oh,
Well, you know, we are entering silly season, so so I want to try to bring a little stability and congratulations and respect to this place.
And so, whether it is the Attorney General poking fun, he has said that he has no interest in politics, or he has made no application for the upcoming general election, which is an indication in this new iteration of politics that you have no interest in running in the election that is forthcoming. So I don't know if he has any political axe to grind, but I hear the Attorney General, Ryan Bindler, KC, congratulating the Senator, Michael Barnett Ellis, on her possibly being tapped as the standard bearer for the Free National Movement. And the only thing that came to my mind is, Lord. 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 It appears as though not a single one of you young FNMs are going to ever be able to catch up to young Travis Robinson in this race towards the top. And it appears as though there is really no use in the Free National Movement for these men except for them to be used as pawns. We've seen it with the young senator who was duped, despite his connections and affinity, and he would argue hard work on behalf of the party, despite his being a commandsman, is what we would call him in the military, despite his being sold to the party, somehow the Free National Movement, not just in this incarnation, because I tell you, one of the people that ran on the Free Nationals ticket in the 2017 election talked my left ear off of the side of my face one evening, telling me at that time how the Free National Movement had no space for young people and how they weren't interested in the inclusion of young people in any meaningful way, etc., etc., etc. And to that I just want to say to Lincoln, Lord, Lincoln, there is nothing they could have offered me. Nothing, including the 6 virgins and the stream of milk that they would all be bathing in, according to some religious beliefs. They couldn't even promise me that. To take on my mentor. And I know some people will say, well, you have said in the past that Jeffrey Lloyd is a distant mentor of yours, yet you contested him in the general election. And to that I say, go and check the facts. I nominated about 4 months ahead of Jeffrey, so if it was anything, Jeffrey took me on. But I would never have allowed anybody to convince me that I should go and contest a man who the world knows took great consideration for Lincoln Deal. Because the question now becomes, if you do not get this nomination, where does that land you? Are you going to be over there sucking sour grapes with the other guy? What exactly? I mean, I don't think you're 35 yet, if I'm not mistaken. I think you're hovering somewhere around 35. You're not running out of time politically. Dr. Minnis is twice your age. What was the benefit in trying to go for the head of the pharaoh? It just doesn't make sense. Only for the party, despite your ambition, to appear, according to the learned Attorney General and King's Counsel, Ryan Pinder, that they aren't minded to go with you. And we've seen it with other young FNMs. And the only thing I can say is, Lord. Because now, in my view, you've lost a friend, you've lost a mentor, you've possibly lost some funding, you've lost somebody that may have continued to look out for you politically otherwise. Because he's a former prime minister, he's never going to not have reach. It's a small population. Until he dies, he will always have influence in this country. So what was it worth to go after the head of the pharaoh? Particularly if you weren't given any guarantees. Especially as a man that's so young. Lord, y'all ain't gonna never be able to catch Travis, you know. It's funny that a poor little black boy ought to be in town, who really and truly, prior to the 2017 election, the only person who knew his name was his ma and his pa, possibly, and maybe like his high school teacher or something. Nobody even knew the guy's name, right? Or should I say his mother and his father, so people aren't offended. But here he is 10 years later, still apparently the only young person in the FNM that could gain any traction to be guaranteed anything or to win anything or to be appointed to anything of any substantive value. Because I continue to contend that to be appointed to the Senate prior to the age of 50 is Neanderthalic. And I would be dead before I let a prime minister appoint me to the Senate as a 36 or 7-year-old man. What would I be doing in there? You mean so when they kick me out of the Senate, I could go back to being a packing boy? Would that make sense? It would make no sense. Regrettably, they have somehow massaged these young men into clamoring behind the possibility of power, behind the possibility of affluence, behind the possibility of being whatever it is they have in their minds. And I'm saying, is it really worth it? Was it worth it to go after the head of the pharaoh? So some old men could get their endeavors bestowed at your expense. So that some old guy can say, of course I'm including young people. Don't you see I have that guy down there trying his hand out? Try my hand out for what? Either you want me to go and represent this seat because you think I offer something and can bring something, not just into the party fold, but into the national fold, or leave me alone. Because according to the legal life expectancy, you could die before me, so I don't need any favors from you. And so you leave me alone, I'll wait till you're dead, and when you're dead, then I'll run to be leader of something. But to continue to have these old men just use you young men as little pawns in this game. Ah, Lord, man. Oh, boy. Spiritual advisor?
No. I'm not getting that.
What you mean?
I'm not going to get in that.
What are you not getting in?
Let's leave that alone.
Hold on. Let's flesh out the facts.
I don't.
Did Lincoln
I'm
Deal,
not interested.
did
in that.
Lincoln Deal lobby for the Kalani seat? That's just a yes or no question. That's just a yes or no question.
Yes, he did.
Is Dr. Minnis...
Now, okay, so what are you doing with this? What's your point?
Why would you take him on?
It has happened before. And you suffer the consequences. You suffer the consequences. I mean...
Ah, Lord.
I would have done it. It was me.
Well, you all really need to get some people to talk to that don't just blow steam in your sphincter like an air balloon, You all have to talk to people that actually want to give you all good advice. And there was no benefit to be gained going for the head of the pharaoh. Why would you do that? To do what? To pander and appease old men? That makes no sense.
So if his career is destroyed, then he must be...
I can't say it's destroyed. He's 35. He should outlive all these fellas. And now he just got to wait till everybody dead to get his chance.
But not only that, he may not be trusted in certain circles.
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't trust a guy that went to take on his mentor. Even when David had an opportunity to kill Saul, what did he do?
Just cut off a little piece.
And take it back to him and say, you see that? If killing you was what I had in my mind, you'd be a dead man.
Yeah.
And I even ain't not kill you for your sake. I ain't kill you because you was Jonathan, daddy.
But then that could go both ways, because I'll tell him that you might as well did, because I still don't trust you.
No, man, what you mean? When I had the opportunity to put the sword at your throat, I ain't do it. And again, not even because David's allegiance was to Saul. David ain't killed Saul because he loved Jonathan. I ain't kill you because you was Jonathan, daddy.
Yeah, that's your boy. Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to get these fellas to understand. If the Pharaoh has been kind to you, how dare you go for the head of the Pharaoh?
Unless they promise him something.
They could have promised me 6 virgins and a brook full of milk. I was going to say no. And their skin could have been soft as chocolate chip cookies. I still was going to say no.
Well, some may say it's politics.
Boy.
We got some calls waiting.
To borrow a phrase from A Midsummer Night's Dream, from the Pixie, Puck. Have you ever read A Midsummer Night's Dream?
No.
What fools these mortals be. Ah, boy. Anyway, let's take a phone call.
It's politics.
Let's take a phone call. I want to know the cabinet ministers, the executive chairman. Here's my list. I think that if we shuffle the cabinet, let me give you my list before I get to this phone call, right? I think if we're going to shuffle the cabinet, here are some people I think we could shuffle in the cabinet that may get a better reception either in a new cabinet portfolio or in a new government-appointed position. You follow me?
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, right now the cabinet is made up of 27 people, right? I think a cabinet shuffle that includes Alfred Michael Sayers, may not be a bad thing.
Okay.
Right? I think a cabinet shuffle that includes Vaughn Miller might not be a bad thing. I'm not saying take them out of the cabinet. I'm saying shuffle them around in the cabinet.
So if you take Vaughn from the Ministry of the Environment, where would you want to put him?
Who knows? You could give him Social Services and National Insurance.
Vaughn Miller.
Yes. He's a pastor. Why can't he be in charge of social service?
Social services.
Yeah.
So you're saying you got to move the social services minister then?
Well, no, because the social services minister has 2 portfolios presently: social services and information. Remember, he's in charge of broadcast.
Which one is he best at?
I don't know. We would have to ask the people over there. But don't forget, social services used to have 2 ministers. It only has 1 presently. Right? I think a cabinet shuffle that involves JoBeth Colby Davis may not be a bad idea. And I would actually put her somewhere where I could buffer her for a while.
Explain.
So she is a lightning rod for controversy. People just like to talk about her. Did you not hear the scandal last week about her being in some sort of insane asylum? You didn't hear that floating through social media?
Yeah, I heard it.
Right,
I heard it.
and of course she has debunked that because she's come out last week, according to what I could see in social media, and went door-to-door campaigning, right?
Okay.
So she's obviously healthy enough to
so it's
walk.
not true. Yeah, so it's not true.
I did say it was a scandal or a slander, whatever you want to call it. But I think maybe people have kind of just got tired of hearing from her on the energy issue. BPL is a contentious issue. She is a lightning rod for controversy. You may want to just take her away from something that is as controversial as BPL. Can you hear reason on that?
Okay.
So you could probably give her, I don't know, something she might be good at, like urban development and transport. Right?
Okay.
She could roughhouse a little bit. She appears to command respect from the streets. People in the inner city, I assume, will love her. She seems to be somebody that could hang, right? Which means she can go into these inner city areas. She also appears to have good ability to kind of get young men to follow her, right? Because if you look at the team, it's full of young men, yes?
Right. Hold on.
So that may, her street cred might be 100%.
Yeah, we're coming now. Oh, sorry about that.
You with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Who else I think could use a cabinet shuffle right now? I want to bite my tongue when I say this because I want to see her shuffled, but not because I think she's run out of grace. I just think if she is good as she appears to be, we should give her a big time job now. You with me?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Who?
Except that I have a lot of people saying that they're waiting to hear. They're waiting on the phones, they say.
Yeah, it's a talk show. They called into a talk show.
Okay.
Right. So I think Ginger Moxie should either be in a cabinet shuffle that expands her portfolio or that gives her a job in Nassau, because it's one thing to be big time, it's another thing to be big time in Freeport. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we will ever see the magnitude of her national contribution if we keep her isolated in Grand Bahama. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, I don't know, give her something like, I want to give her agriculture. I really want Jomo to keep agriculture. But we could give her something like Ministry of Family Island Affairs, maybe. No, let's not take that from Clay. We could give her something like Ministry of Immigration. That's perfect, since we move in Alfred. Ministry of Immigration. And that gives her an opportunity to have greater national acclaim. Because she obviously has outdone herself in Grand Bahama. There's nothing left for her to do in Grand Bahama. If Ginger Moxie loses in Grand Bahama, they should just burn the whole of Grand Bahama down and start over. Because there's obviously no way for her to win. You understand? Like, she's done every possible thing to win. If she doesn't win, something's just wrong with the demographics, and we should just start it over. You know, like how they used to do them cities in Rome? Just burn the whole city to the ground and build it back? Maybe that'll be the only option. You with me?
Okay.
So I think JoBeth should be in a shuffle. I think Vaughn should be in a shuffle. Just because I don't know if I don't know if they're still getting the responses they want in the media. Like, when last have you heard any big stories that involve these ministers that wasn't taking away from the government's effort? You follow me? Mm-hmm. Okay. Except for Ginger. I just think Ginger needs more to do. And where are we? I want Lundy to be in a shuffle, but that's only because I think I want Lundy to be an actual minister. So we could give Lundy Family Island Affairs. So we can make Lundy the minister with responsibility for disaster management, Family Island Affairs, and utilities, eh? Because water and sewage come under him. I know how. So we can make him the minister of disaster risk management, Family Island Affairs, and water and sewage. Don't take water and sewage from him and leave him with that. I don't care what you have to call it. Just leave that with him because he's way good over there. But I think he could be in a cabinet shuffle. He is a full-fledged minister. What am I talking about? He is a full-fledged minister. But I think in a seat like South Andros, where he may have some logistical challenges, Lundy might be your go-to guy for Family Island Affairs. And that way we could just let Clay focus on Wicks. Since there's so much Wicks going around, he doesn't have to have a dual portfolio.
Okay.
All right? I've given up this argument that the PALSEC should be called into cabinet because it's 1 year out. I wouldn't waste the privilege of being in cabinet with less than a year to serve. That makes no sense, right?
So it doesn't make any sense to shuffle the cabinet either.
That doesn't make sense. No, you shuffle. I just told you why you would shuffle
But
the
it
cabinet.
doesn't make sense to do it.
No, it makes perfect sense to shuffle the cabinet.
You shuffle the cabinet, right?
If the cabinet is stalemate, it makes perfect sense to shuffle the cabinet so that people could hear a different voice on an old issue.
Well, what could be accomplished, though?
I just told you, re-stimulating the people. Were you here with me during the whole Ian Pavlov thing? You were
Yeah,
here?
but I don't know if that's blind in this case.
What you mean? It's science.
Okay. Let's leave it. Let's leave it.
It's science.
right.
The theory. How old is the theory of Ian Pavlov? I think it's like 100 years old. How old is the theory of Ian Pavlov? What you mean it don't make sense? It's science.
Okay.
1890. How long ago that was?
That's a long time.
Precisely. What you mean? What you mean it don't make no sense? It is a principle in psychology, right? Okay, so is that everybody that you want to see shuffle?
But I'm not in that.
But I think these bunch of PALSECs. No, you might have one you want to add.
No.
So I think these bunch of PALSECs, we could start shuffling them around in these executive chairman posts, and I think we could probably send Beaches and Parks chairman over by the gaming board, right? Mm-hmm. And then move Barker's role into Beaches and Parks. And then Leonardo Lightburn, I think he should become the executive chairman or something. I say make it BAIC. Because I get it. Right now, the senator holds that spot. But in the game of politics, elected members of parliament are valued more than senators. What Ingram say? Ingram say you gotta win. And that's right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And all these fellas have proven that they could win. And they're possibly going to be sent to win again. So why would you do things like let people hold chairmanship positions that hinder their ability to win? If winning is what they have to do or that is the prerequisite, why would I let a senator occupy that? We got 10 months left. I could let the senator go do something else. Give BAIC to Leonardo Lightburn, chairman. Give Beaches and Parks to Barkus Rule, chairman. And let's see if we can get these elected fellas pushing the arms of state in an effort to get them re-elected and getting new eyes and ears and people with new grace for the journey, eh? Because he who has started a good work in you is able to keep you until the end. Don't move, we'll be back. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM. Channel 224, Channel 112, that's on Cable and Flow, and of course on ILTV Studios, but wherever you are listening. Thank you for listening, and I don't say that to you if you're already listening to me, because you know our call signs. I'm telling you to call your friends and tell your friends, turn off the nonsense, and to come listen to us over here on Freedom March, where the goal often is to inform, to educate, and sometimes we entertain. I think we have Tanya on the line. Let's go to Tanya. Hello, Tanya. Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller, and good afternoon, spiritual advisor. It's your girl Tanya coming to you live from Shop Smart Department Store. Your miracle right here at number 122 Mackey Street, where we say we're here for you for whatever season of your life and for everyday living. And we are in the season of back to school. Yes, all of the smart shoppers are coming into Shop Smart to take advantage of not only our 20% off everything back to school, but they are in here taking advantage of our back to school sweepstake. If you are a smart shopper, all you need to do is come on into Shop Smart and spend a minimum of $25 on back to school items, and you'll be eligible for one of our sweepstake drawings. We do drawings every Saturday in the month of August. We have 4 fabulous prizes. The first prize, second prize, third prize, fourth prize, all valued at $500 each. You can get yourself a $500 BPL voucher. You can win $500 grocery at your food store. You can win $500 gas in your car. Or you can win a $500 shopping spree in Shop Smart. A minimum purchase of only $25 of anything back to school at Shop Smart. Shop Smart, we've also got all of the spray ground backpacks that you need. Come on in, we've got you covered. And with the purchase of a spray ground backpack, you can get yourself 10 free books and 10 free folders. Come on in. Shop Smart is located right here at number 122 Mackey Street, and we're open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for your shopping convenience. Or you can visit us on our website at shopsmart242.com.
Always remember to shop early, to shop often, and to shop smart. Anyway, Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor for the whole Bahamas, they tell me, is still here with me, Bradley.
we got some calls.
We got calls on the phone line.
Welcome to Freedom March, caller. You're live. If you're still there, are you there, caller? Sorry. Welcome to Freedom March, caller. You're live.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. The first point, Levan, in reference to the Kalani scene, are they going to cut that to the boundaries cut?
I know, the wind tell me, you know I hear from the wind, right?
But guess what?
The wind tell me they're supposed to cut that in two. It's supposed to be Teleport and whatever the old other name was.
Back to Teleport. So, the young man may still be hopeful, so...
But the point I'm making, caller, is, right, Dr. Minnis, as far as... I don't get an F&M's business. I wanted to be a F&M, but they wouldn't let me be a F&M, so you know what I am now? I'm an FNA, right? And as far as I am aware, Dr. Minnis has always had great consideration for the chap that they sent to go get him. And my only question is, why would you let them convince you to do that?
But to look at it another way, I think some of the mentorship taken off. It taught him how to go after what you want.
I guess.
That ambition and to go after what you want, you may get knocked out the first time, but you get back up.
I guess.
But the main thing I call you for is in reference to the shopper.
Sure.
Maybe one, but I don't think you should, right now, just say, let's say, 8-9 months before the election.
Right.
Hey, why would you shop a cabinet? Unless it's an extreme emergency.
Because sometimes have you ever just kind of got tired hearing from someone on an issue?
Yeah, but guess what? Right now, I mean, like you said, to stimulate some sort of stimuli or whatever,
Right.
in reference to the citizens.
Right.
Do you really, really believe that putting a new face or a new person in that position of us, the minister, the cabinet, that is, right, would really change the feeling of the people?
Can I prove it to you?
I say that because the policies, the agenda,
Right.
whatever budget or allocations or whatever that's already there,
Yeah, they locked in.
it's locked in.
Sure. Can I prove it to you, though? Do you remember in the early days of the pandemic, right? They thought bringing the light skin, Nakia Forbes on TV would make us all feel good because Bahamians like to look at light skinned people and we just have a great affinity towards them, right? And you remember the whole place was in panic and nobody felt comforted. Remember that? And what did they do? All of a sudden, they take up Dr. Dal Regis. You remember that?
But Nakia,
And it was just something about...
Forbes was still there.
But it was just something about Dr. Dal Regis. Tell me if I'm lying now. Dr. Dal Regis just looked like she could heal you.
No. Her voice, she was soothing.
Right.
She panicked.
So isn't that the same? Isn't that the same concept here?
No, but Dr. Forbes was still there.
No, but I'm saying to you, you remember Dr. Forbes was originally the spokesperson. Well,
Yeah,
okay. Well, let me tell you how it started.
I think it was a matter of us understanding the process.
I so traumatized by
She was
COVID.
like
I can tell you who
my
did.
mother,
Uh-huh.
a soothing person, because she really calmed me. She really was
Right.
good, and I appreciate that. Half of that, I always love her.
So you're agreeing with me then?
But in reference to the government, cabinet going into an election and putting a new face, all you're doing is moving. Just say, okay, Mr. Miller, Vaughn Miller. Putting him, okay, Mr. Miller, get up and go sit in the chair where Dr. Darwin or this Miles Nerona is.
Right.
To me, at this stage in the game, they need to carry this straight to the finish, deal with it, come high or whatever you call it, go straight to the finish. But at the end of the day, remember you said last week, the technocrats, the PSs, and for instance, when you spoke on finance, these contract issues,
Yeah.
those people are still in place.
Agreed.
It's not, I would maybe mean that what you're saying, or maybe get a little stimulated if the minister, whoever the minister of finance, whoever, and he's not going to shuffle himself.
No.
If they're going to say, okay, Mr. Technocrat, got to go. You understand what I'm saying?
His job is
Really
constitutionally
make that
protected.
move, because right now everything is locked in, and they're going to carry this through, because you think people are not stimulated now. Let them go and talk, but try shake that table and shuffle right now, move things, and to be able to stabilize the situation. I just want to put that 5 cents in, but you all stay safe, okay?
Appreciate you, caller.
Thank you.
Well, I think the caller kind of talks of the two sides of them out in that instance, right? I always appreciate her contributions, but what she said on the one side of her mouth was changing the cabinet ministers, hearing a new voice on an issue wouldn't change anything. But she also agreed that during the pandemic, we gone from hearing Jeffrey Lloyd on night one, that almost
Yeah,
scared
she
all
may have
us to
agreed
holy
because
hell.
it's an area then, but not now.
What was the difference? All we do, Dr. Dal Regis ain't come and tell us nothing different.
I can tell you one thing. At this stage of the game,
Yeah.
I believe that every single person who is going to vote has already decided how they're going to vote. Shuffling the cabinet
No, man,
will
I
not
ain't make
change.
up my mind yet, because what if they send
All right.
Tanya McCartney back?
Okay.
If they send
Okay.
Tanya McCartney back in South Beach, Bacchus Road will be in problems. Listen to me. You know the only 3 things I didn't know in 2002?
I believe what is done is done.
Do you know the 3 things I knew in 2002?
Okay. Well, we still got some callers.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep
I
them
want
busy.
them to hear what I was. In 2002, here's the 3 things I didn't know. I was F&M, I was in South Beach, and I was for Tanya. They was the only 3 things I didn't know. So if Tanya come back, if Tanya McCartney come back, boy, Bacchus may have the tie he pants leg, mind you. Anyway, let's go to the phone. But anything other than Tanya. So don't say my mind make up yet, because something always could sway you. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello,
Hey,
is it my turn?
it is absolutely your turn, sir. Welcome to Freedom March.
Yes. spiritual advisor, and Mr. Miller.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I want to thank you in advance for allowing me to send a warm marital congratulations to a good friend. Here's to Mr. Edison and Aldemise Major, and they're celebrating of their 50th anniversary, and I am wishing you, excuse me, I'm admonishing you to rejoice in the Lord always.
Oh, praise the Lord.
I hope you will live to enjoy many, many more. Happy belated wedding anniversary, 50 years from your good friend Sheila.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Sheila.
I want to thank you. Spiritual advisor, you know, you're good for Mr. Miller, you know. You're very good for Mr. Miller. I'm glad to hear you speaking up now.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Have a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay.
Rejoice in the Lord always and again. Sheila say rejoice. Let's take another phone call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
You got me now?
Live and direct.
Boy, you had me a little while, boy, Lee.
Man, I apologize.
I got 2 or 3 things I want to share with you. I want to help you with. Because you was asking for the help.
Sure.
Okay. And you voice open up, you was talking about certain scripture.
Right.
The race is not for the swift.
Right.
But for he who endure to the
Oh,
end.
praise the Lord.
That's the scripture. Now, the one with Paul, right? I mean, with Saul. David didn't kill Saul, not because of Jonathan, because he was the anointed one. Saul was anointed.
Right.
That's why he didn't kill Saul.
Yeah, but Saul anointed and wear off mine.
No. Concerning David, that's why he didn't kill him.
Okay.
He said, how can I touch the anointing of the Lord?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you suggesting to me that when David was anointed, David's anointing didn't replace the anointing of Saul? Because, you know, technically, the prophet that anointed David should have been killed. That was actually treasonous behavior.
Right.
To anoint a king while a king was sitting.
Now you got to remember too, though. You gotta remember too. Saul anointing what you anointed. That can't.
Then he can't wear off. Oh, praise the Lord.
What happened was he was stripped from the kingship, not the anointing.
Okay, all right. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I can see that.
And another thing I want to help you with too, concerning the beaches and barks.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if some of these people understand how governors operate. Like how spiritual advisor was telling you, right? There's a certain process. And the process is every August, you got to renew your contract.
Sure.
So you cannot get that money for August unless your MP signed that renewal all over. And some MPs don't do it.
Okay.
I can tell you. Because the whole Golden Isles,
Yeah.
we didn't get our one.
Wow.
Not just this year.
Wow.
Last year too.
Wow.
Because he was traveling, so he wasn't able to sign it on time.
Wow.
So that's what happened. Even St. George.
Well, all this stuff is new information to me. You know, I never had no big fat juicy contract. So I.
No, but I just saying that to say what spiritual advisor was sharing with you, he was totally right.
All right. Appreciate it.
But another thing, this is the last thing I go on.
You sound like a Baptist preacher now. Keep going.
No, I just wanted to tell you that.
You sound like I'm getting.
Supposed to be a pastor.
You sound like I'm getting ready to close.
Be a politician.
Huh? You ever been to the Baptist church and the Baptist preacher tell you that? I'm getting ready to close.
Okay.
Yeah, he got 20 more minutes.
Let me leave on.
Appreciate you, buddy.
I enjoy listening to you on Spiritual Advisor.
Thank you, sir.
You know?
Thank you, sir.
And when I get the opportunity to do this, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you all have a blessed one, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
you too.
Spiritual Advisor.
Yes, sir, my brother.
I tell you, you
Yeah.
sound like a
All the
Baptist
best.
preacher.
Be good.
All right.
care.
God bless.
All right.
323-7775-698-0775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Can you tell me who advised you on giving the spiritual advisor the name of the whole Bahamas?
When our good beloved Senator Rodney Munker died, he transcended being spiritual advisor for Rodney Munker, and he became spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary. And as a consequence of that ascension, that now makes him the spiritual advisor of the whole Bahamas.
I don't think it was not a referendum, so you're not right on that.
Oh, wow.
Nobody's happy with that because he does not fit the position of that.
No, Bradley.
No.
All right, so let me help you. Let me help you with that. Because,
No.
all right, so let me tell you what happened. Now, I can be honest with you. When I first came on this show, about 10 years ago, I was Rodney's spiritual advisor.
Right.
So Rodney's no longer with us.
Right.
And so I took it upon myself
Right.
to believe and think
Yes.
that once I send a scripture through the airwaves,
Yeah.
it goes to everybody
The
who
whole
listens.
Bahamas.
So,
So he's the spiritual advisor extraordinary.
okay, so let me ask a question. All right, so let me ask a question. You don't want me to be your advisor, right? And that's fine, because I don't want to either.
No. You have talked so much about other denominations. How could you be? You talk
So
about
he's not the denominational.
All right,
He's
so
not the denominational advisor.
Listen, see, denominations are not in the Bible in the first place. Now, if you can find one denomination in the Bible for me, I'm willing to call for $5,000 of my savings. Okay? If you can find if you can, just give me a second. Just give me a second. If you can find a Baptist church in the Bible, if you can find a Seventh-day Adventist church in the Bible, if you can find an Anglican church, Methodist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Episcopalian, Jehovah's Witness, Mormons, Christians, whatever denomination it is, if you can find the Bible, I'm willing to call for $5,000 of my savings.
But the thing is, you never look Levan in the face. Everybody is talking about how you don't even face in it.
All right, so-
Levan always faced you.
All right.
You never look at you in the face. You
All right.
always did that to Sam. You never did it to Levan.
Okay, so see, the thing is,
who's
we have a camera arrangement here at this. You know what? Call up. Take a number, because this is taking up precious time. We'll talk to off air. We probably have some other callers who.
Don't
You
say
know.
anything. You don't wipe your glasses on your shoes.
I am so,
You don't wipe-
ma'am, and I'm sorry. I must apologize to you for all that, okay? I am so sorry. Forgive me. Let's go on to the next caller.
You sure?
Ma'am, my number is 814-6096. If you want to discuss that personal issue you have against me, because it has nothing to do with the public, call me. My number is 814-6096. I apologize for cleaning my glasses on the air.
And
to
besides-
you and everybody,
And
okay?
besides, as a justice of the peace, I have been endued with power given to me by His Majesty King Charles, by virtue of his ascension to the throne, after taking over from our sovereign lady, Queen Elizabeth II, Elizabeth Regina. And as such, by the powers vested in me, by His Majesty King Charles, I have dubbed him spiritual advisor, extraordinary, and plenipotentiary. And so there you have it. Let's
Because
take another-
when the scriptures and explanation comes through the airwaves, they go to everybody who's listening. So
Let's take another phone call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
I'm suspicious of that woman, though.
She in FNM?
I don't believe she's
Hello,
serious.
good afternoon.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. We don't have time to be talking about that kind of thing there, talking to spiritual advisor. That ain't important.
No, no.
There's no religious in the Bible, no denomination.
No, it ain't there.
But I want to say this to the Commissioner of Police as a former police officer.
Uh-huh.
I stood on Bay Street on Sunday, Bay Street and E Street.
Mm-hmm.
Two young officers standing there, stopping persons for whatever reasons. Here is a man in the middle of the road with them. He looked like a road traffic officer. Perhaps he's supposed to be over by the port.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the tourists in the motorbike, like, what do you call that one with the bigger one, the big wheel one.
Yeah, the four-wheeler.
Tell the tourists to get off, lift up the back seat, tell the tourists that the seat ain't do, and this and that. And then tell the tourists, say, the vehicle that I rent is not licensed. So I told man there, I said, that's not the way to deal with the tourists, you know. If the bike is not licensed, you as a road traffic officer, you are to report the person who they rent it from. They had the tourists stand up on Bay Street for about 20 minutes or more, waiting for another bicycle, and never arrive. You know, what are we doing in the Bahamas? In fact, the two young rookies police officers, I've never seen that before. What is the road traffic officer doing there, taking over their show? You know, this is what I'm going to say to Commissioner Police. We have a lot of people who need guidance. And they need to be with senior officers along with them to direct them. Else they're going to fail. There's no sense, no use to send two young rookies on Bay Street who has no guidance as to what to do in situations like this. You know, and they, because of my experience, they want to attack me. And I had to put them in their place. You know, so I'm going to say we need to be careful how we deal with retired police officers, reservists who have experience. And who wants to offer their service elsewhere, I will just leave them and let them crash. I wouldn't help them. You know? The Commissioner of Police needs to take advice from senior officers who want to give these young people directions, you know, because you don't want to see the country fail. When you take a tourist and throw them on the side of the road of a motorbike and tell them the bike ain't license, you know, tourism is our number one thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
All right,
that's what I want to say, so on this video.
Appreciate
I want
you.
them to hear it. I will give them, perhaps they will know who this is speaking, but I will tell them my 30-something years of experience, none of them young rookies could never get it. I'm not going to offer it anymore. Next time I see a situation going on, I'm not going to involve it.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
Cole, I appreciate it.
All right.
323-777-569-80-775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Caller, hi.
Yeah, good afternoon, Miller. How you doing, man?
Hey, Chief.
Listen here. I was supposed to bring it to your attention from you returning from the homecoming. There is another way now, or you should agitate for another way for travel to and from those family islands during homecoming. Because the whole roll-on, roll-off is not the way for people to travel. And you know it yourself, right?
As a matter of fact, I feel like if you could survive a roll-on, roll-off trip for 14 hours, you could be a pirate.
I do agree with you, but I'm seeing it, man. It's deplorable now.
It is. That is certainly not the most convenient mode of transportation.
Yeah, man. You can carry vehicles and heavy freight, but not for human beings to travel to and from homecoming, to be up there at the same time and be back in Nassau at the same time.
And I also think, you know, I have said on this show that I think we have to figure out a way to subsidize travel through the family islands. You remember I talked about the archipelago itself being a natural resource. And as such, the government could decide that they're going to, what did I say I was going to call it, spiritual advisor, the National Going to the Family Island Funding. And every year we just give the air people them $10 million to offset, because you know at one point, the ticket prices was $470. I don't even want to pay that to go to Vegas.
Exactly.
It was unbelievable. But definitely I take the point, Chief.
Yeah, man, agitate on that for me, please.
I will. I can talk to Joe, but she in charge of... No, I got to talk to Chester. Chester in charge of playing.
Well, that means you release a fast ferry to Florida to do it that kind of time of the year. You know what I mean?
I know you got more money than me, so I definitely support you.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Under the FNA, you might see something like that. So there you have it. So Chester, we need more airlift to these family islands because people can't get to the family island. So what he's saying is, you remember those 7 boats that we saw parked up at Smith's Bay when I showed you them? They have no cover from the elements, no protection.
So you're just out there in the open?
Out there in the
open.
open.
Entire trip?
Doing it 19 hours.
Wow.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Hey, caller.
Hey, what's up?
Good.
Hey, spiritual advisor, I have to come to your defense. It's Molly here.
Hey, Molly.
Don't let these people who are so jaded by their Anglo-Saxon Christian belief, that they try to offend you and tell you don't know what you're talking about. Because I went to school to study religion and theology, almost as a priest one time. What they believe and what their pastors tell them is pure nonsense. Because when you study these, the Bible and et cetera, you find out that King James Version of the Bible is pure nonsense. Because it's not properly, translated. But hold the fort, keep on preaching what you're preaching, my brother.
Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate that.
Well, I don't like when people say King James was nonsense because
Yeah,
ain't nobody just debunked King James yet. And they like to call him a sissy. And I always say, if this boy was a sissy, how come in 66 books of this Bible, this man never one time endorsed being a sissy? Anyway, we out of time. We'll see you again tomorrow.